previously. Man is reincarnated as a slime and soon becomes the boss in a local orc village and takes care of it the best he can. Somewhere in the kingdom, a mysterious figure called Jelmud is trying to start a huge war. Lizard men are his first target, so they go around the kingdom gathering forces for their defense. They arrive at Rimura's village looking for soldiers willing to fight for them. But their leader is very disrespectful, so Rimuru sets a fight between him and his friend Gobta to teach him a lesson. Gobta defeats him with such ease that even Rimuru is impressed, thinking how Gobta might be some sort of a prodigy. Rimuru sends the lizard men away, telling them that if they want their help against the orcs, they will have it, but he and his village will not serve them. The lizard men pick up their unconscious leader and run away. Saad has used his skills to scout the movement of the orc army, reporting what he found to Rimuru and the others during their strategy meeting. They confirm that an orc lord must be leading this huge army that is now headed straight for the lizard men's home. While they are thinking of what to do about it, a dryad named Trainee appears before them, introducing herself before respectfully asking of Rimuru to defeat the orc lord. Before giving Trainee an answer, Rimuru wants to learn more about the orcs as he does not want to put those he leads at unnecessary risk. The strategy meeting continues with Sally confirming that he scouted back to his home village and found no corpses of either the orcs nor the ogres. Trainee chimes in, telling them about the orc lord's unique skill he is born with, which is called Starved. That skill makes him, and all the orcs who serve under him, perpetually hungry, devouring anything in their sight. In addition, they get stronger from anything they consume, similar to how Rimuru does, reasoning that they are marching towards the lizard men so they would devour them and gain their powers. Trainee repeats her request to Rimuru, asking him to defeat the orc lord once more. With Shion's encouragement, Rimuru accepts Trainee's request, making everyone prepare to face the orcs. In order to increase their odds, Rimuru wants to form an alliance with the lizard men, but does not want to deal with Gabiru. Instead, he sends Saoi as an envoy directly to their king. Gabiru has finally regained consciousness, declaring to his fellow lizard men that he was tricked, and that powerful goblin who defeated him must have been the true leader of the village. Suddenly, a Magin named Laplace appears before him, bearing a warning from Jelmud, the Magin who gave Gabiru his name. He gives Gabiru a warning that the orcs do indeed have an orc lord leading them, and that his father, the king, is not capable of leading the lizard men against such a powerful foe. Tricking Gabiru into instigating a coup to usurp the leadership of the lizard men for himself. Thanks to his skills, Sav quickly arrives to the lizard men's village, approaching their king and bringing him Rimurus' message. The king realizes how powerful Saoi is, and considering he serves Rimuru, it must mean Rimuru is even stronger than that. Seeing the alliance as a positive thing, the king agrees under the condition that he meets with Rimuru in person beforehand. Saoi agrees to his term and withdraws to make preparations for their meeting, warning them to not attack the orcs on their own in the meanwhile. The king forwards the news to his men, ordering them to bunker down inside of their settlement and wait for the alliance to officially form, before launching a counter-offensive against the orcs. But before the meeting between the king and Rimuru can take place, Gabiru returns and usurps the throne, taking command of the lizard men, many of whom are eager to fight back and retaliate against the invaders under his command, as he is a named monster. His counteroffensive does not fare well, as the orcs just continue pushing on while eating their fallen comrades, as well as any fallen lizard men on their path, making the surviving ones even stronger. Rimuru is on his way to officially form the alliance with the lizard men. Accompanying him are Ranga, Benimaru, Shion, Hakiru, Sao, and Gobta with a unit of goblin riders. As they are getting closer to their destination, Sao notices that a lizard man is being attacked by some orcs nearby, so Rimuru orders him to provide assistance. Sao successfully saves the lizard man, who is healed by Rimuru once everyone catches up with Sao. It turns out the lizard man is the king's daughter and Gabiru's sister. She explains what happened and begs of Rimuru to save her father and Gabiru. Rimuru accepts her as the king's official representative, forming the alliance with her. After which he sends Sao with her to rescue her father, while the rest of them make haste towards the battlefield, where Gabiru is currently engaged with the orcs. On the battlefield, the orcs have gained the lizard men's traits from eating them, allowing them faster movement in the swampy environment. This catches the lizard men by surprise, causing Gabiru and his unit to be completely surrounded. He orders them to assume defensive formations in order to protect the goblins they brought with them. While trying to figure out a way for them to survive, an orc general comes forth. Gabiru challenges the general to a one-on-one match, to which the general gladly agrees. Even though Gabiru has some flashy moves, he cannot defeat the general. All of that is being observed by Jelmud and Laplace through a crystal ball. They are very happy with the way things are progressing. Trainee locates them, attempting to force them out of the forest, but they manage to escape from her. Just as Gabiru is about to be killed, Gobta, Ranga, and the rest of the goblin raiders come to his aid. Gabiru is shocked to see Gobta again, who he still thinks is the true leader of Rimura's village. At the same time, massive explosions decimate the orcs' ranks as Benimaru, Xion, and Hakiru exact their revenge for what the orcs did to their village. The orc general taunts Ranga and Gobta, to which Ranga responds by summoning a massive storm. The storm slaughters many of the orcs and kills the orc general, causing Ranga to evolve into a Tempest Star Wolf. Meanwhile, Sally has been successful with his mission, saving the king of the lizard men. While helping them get out of the prison, he gets ambushed by a strong orc, but dealing with the orc is a trivial matter for him. Sensing that he is being watched, he tells the one doing it that this is what is coming for him next. It turns out that Jelnut was indeed watching him at this moment. Jelnut is completely furious as he watches the orc army getting decimated, deciding that he has to do something so they will not lose, because if they lose, he will be killed. Rimuru is flying above the battlefield, observing how the battle is progressing. While doing so, he spots the orc lord and prepares to fight him. Suddenly, Jelmud flies into the fray, standing to face against Rimuru's troops. Gabiru is happy to see him, as he is the one that granted him his name, wondering if Jelmud arrived to help them out. But it turns out it is quite the opposite. Jelmud reveals that he wants to turn the orc lord into a demon lord by having him eat all the monsters in the forest, and Gabiru should just let himself be eaten. Gabiru is so shocked by this revelation that he cannot move, so when Jelmud blasts him with his magic, Gabiru's friends block the attack with their bodies. Jelmud fires another blast, but Rimuru steps in, absorbing the attack and giving Gabiru healing potions for his friends. Rimuru faces off against Jelmud, and for all this high and mighty talk, Jelmud is quite helpless against him. Asking the Orc Lord to stop being useless and help him, the Orc Lord steps in. But instead of helping him, the Orc Lord kills Jelmud on the spot, eating his body. This proves enough of a power boost for him to transform into the Demon Lord Orc Disaster. Rimuru's troops combine their powers and strike together against the Orc Disaster, but they only manage to slightly injure him before running out of power. The injuries he sustained are quickly healed too, thanks to the other orcs offering up their bodies, having him eat them and heal up. Rimuru takes over the fight, having his allies fall back. He allows the Great Sage to automate his combat movements because the Great Sage can think and react faster than him. Even though his combat performance is excellent, Rimuru is unable to beat the Orc Disaster by fighting him in this manner. Taking back control from the Great Sage, Rimuru decides to finish the fight by clashing their skills. Rimuru's Predator against the Orc Disaster is starved. After all, he realized that his Predator ability is more potent, so the Orc Disaster has no chance to win against it. While devouring him, Rimuru enters the mind of the Orc Disaster, allowing him to see into his past and talk with him. Rimuru sees how he set out of the Orc village in order to find food in the forest, because they were dying out from a famine. On the way through the wasteland, he collapsed. It is then that Jelmud appeared before him, giving him the name Geld. With the name came the power to become the Orc Lord, and Jelmud ordered him to keep eating everyone, telling him that those he eats will live on. Geld realizes that he was just used as a pawn, but he cannot allow himself to die, because the burden of his sins will fall onto his brethren if he does. Rimuru promises that he will devour all of his sins with him, including those that would fall onto his brethren, so he can rest in peace. Geld is surprised and happy to hear that, giving Rimuru his thanks before being completely dissolved inside of him. With that, the Orc Disaster is gone and Rimuru is victorious. With the Orc Disaster's death, his influence over the orcs disappeared, releasing them from their relentless hunger and ending the invasion. Rimuru tells Benimaru, Xion, Hakiru, and Saoi that as per their agreement, they are free to choose their own path now. But instead of leaving, all of them want to stay by Rimuru's side, offering their continued allegiance to him. With the fighting coming to an end, the involved monsters hold a conference in front of Trainee, with Rimuru serving as the chairman. During the conference, Rimuru states how he wishes to forgive the orcs for what they did, as they have been driven to extreme measures due to famine ravaging their land. While the lizard men find this unfair, Rimuru explains that he has promised to do as much to the Orc Disaster before he died. In regard to the large amount of orcs left inside of the Great Forest, he proposes the forming of an alliance between all of the monsters in the forest. That way they could help each other out and prevent any such disasters from happening in the future. The monsters accept that proposal, and Trainee declares it official, with Rimuru becoming the chancellor of the entire alliance. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.